Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Don't Take Us Seriously podcast, where we talk all things sports. And today, we got a solid topic for all of our fellow Ohioans, and that is the Cavs and a potential playoff, well, not even potential playoff hopes at this point, but playoff berth and current success. But before we get into the topic, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment on anything that you would like to hear us, or any critiques whatsoever, or if you dislike something that we said, let us know. But today, the Cavs, their semblance of success and how far they have come. You believe that the Cavs made the playoffs for the first time without LeBron.
With 50 wins.
And this hasn't been done since 96, bro.
Wild.
It is astronomical. They beat the Rockets, and they finally got in the playoffs since 2018. Bron has legit spoiled the city of Cleveland, the state of Ohio, for shit since coming into the league. 4 consecutive finals. Brought a championship to Cleveland. Probably would have won more if injuries and the Spurs and Golden State didn't exist. But that's not the topic of today. That's not what we talk about.
And actually, I misspoke earlier. It's actually the first time that they're making the playoffs since 96 without LeBron. This is the first time they're going to make the playoffs with 50 wins potentially since 92. That's wild. That's crazy. That was the Mark Price days. I don't remember that. I don't know if you remember that, but
being born.
Wasn't. I was, but I was only 2. But let's look a little further into here. So we look at the Cavs have finally unveiled themselves from the shadow of LeBron James. And they've done it in great fashion, I must add. You look at this, the Cavs are only, 1, maybe 2 games behind Philly as the number 3 seed. Now, I'm not gonna go wild here because we just saw Joel Embiid at the time of this taping. He just dropped 50 again, beat the Celtics, who I don't know if you expect that to happen, but I didn't expect that to happen. So he's looking to try to lock up the MVP race and lock up his number 3 seed. So the Cavs might have to sit at number 4, but either way it goes, they're in a great spot. And this team has emerged from the shadow of darkness, which was the old cape of LeBron, and now they've parlayed that into a playoff berth.
Like, to summarize this, right? Look at another franchise similar to, the Cavs that you just named. Boston, right? So Boston went post Big 3 era, hired Brad Stevens. Some people's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Brad Stevens turned out to be one of the best young coaches in the leagues. And it took a minute, because Boston is actually just now finally starting to show that they actually have, what it takes to win it all. Now, granted, we've seen the potential for years, and they've continuously come up short. But every year they get closer and they look better, and the potential shines through in coaching and players, the way that they play, the outcome of the season. They continuously stack up accolades and achievements and show they were doing things the right way, and that the organization is ran the way it's supposed to be ran. And now look at the Cavs, right? Now remember how many years it took the Celtics to get to this point. How many years Bron been in LA? 3?
3 years now.
3, right? And boom, Cavs right there, right now. This is legit a season where the finals are legit potentially in grasp. And at bare minimum, the Eastern Conference Finals are legitimately in grasp. Now, do I think they can win the Eastern Conference Finals? That's a topic of discussion for later. As of right now, they have a very strong possibility of at least making it to that point only after 3 years. That's a miraculous turnaround. Go ahead, bro.
It really is. And it's crazy because I like that you mentioned it in 3 years. Since LeBron left, the Cavs were in the shits for a little bit there because you go and you look at it, they lost LeBron, they fired Ty Lue, they hired the Michigan coach, John Beline, I think his name was, and he didn't know how to handle professional athletes. Let's just call it what it was. He ended up turning out a pair of 19-win seasons, and they got him up out of there. Kobe Altman, he decides, okay, let's go get J.B. Bickerstaff. We'll see how the guy turns out. J.B. Bickerstaff looked real legit. It's not that he's the end-all, be-all, but at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's at least the coach for right now. You look at how he's been able to develop this young core. this team's legit. I don't really know how else to really break this down. I mean, this is a team that's gone from the shambles to making a couple good moves, and now they're potentially the 4th seed. I mean, they're probably going to be the 4th seed. They could crack into 3rd if Philly were to fall apart. So I'm not saying that Bickerstaff is the next Phil Jackson or anything like that. He might be Mark Jackson, which isn't a bad thing because he might be able to mold this team, this young core, into something legit. And then, maybe they can end up parlaying that. They go get the right coach, and then they ends up shooting them off like the Warriors were when he shot off for Steve Kerr. Who knows? But at this point, he may not be the guy, but he's the guy right now, and it's looking all right.
Hey man, I ain't gonna give him no slander, but what I will say is the Cavs have a great GM because he had a contingency plan ready and prepared for what they were gonna do in the post Bron era, and that contingency plan has shown through. The only semblance they had left of that Bron era was Kevin Love, and he's out of there now. Right. They moved away from Kyrie. Mm-hmm. Then they went and drafted Colin Sexton. Post Bron era, first year draft Colin Sexton. Next year draft Darius Garland. In year 3, you bring in Karis LeVert, and then you draft Mobley, and you brought in Jarrett Allen the previous year. I'm sorry, I moved a little bit too fast here. Mm-hmm. But then you swap out Colin Sexton. You give up, 2 first-round picks in Colin Sexton, and you go get a guy that you know is like that. Not because it's not that Colin Sexton didn't fit the system or couldn't get it done, but you go get a dude that is Colin Sexton on steroids and is a potential walking 50 ball, and you bring him in to a system where you already had a guard similar, but you know that this guy can shoot and bring you everything the last guy did too. This dude's a genius, bro. Like, dude was fully prepared when he came into this meeting. He walked into the office on that Monday. It was like, they ain't fucking with me.
Let's also not forget, though, even through this, they also got Isaac Okoro in there as well in the mix of there. I'm not sure if it was, I think it was before Mobley, in between Mobley and Sexton. Somewhere in there, they got Okoro as a lottery pick. That's one. And then you also look a little bit further. They got, like you mentioned, they got Darius Garland. Darius Garland's legit. The dude can play. So you got a guy now that can pair with Donovan Mitchell. They're trying to figure it out. Let Mobley, form his way along the way. And now you got guys that are starting to actually play their potential. This isn't just a projection. This is reality. Like I mentioned, Isaac Okoro, he had a game winner against the Nets not too long ago. I think it was a couple weeks ago. He hit the corner 3, and he left it up there. And he should, because he's playing the way that he should, like a legitimate 3-and-D guy. For y'all out there that don't know, he plays good defense and he hits threes. But either way it goes, the Cavs, before our very eyes, they're turning into a legitimate Eastern Conference contender. And less years in Boston even made it happen.
Yeah, man, and it's just crazy because you rarely see a team that is so well balanced in their front and back court. The talent on both ends is comparable to top end teams. You just don't see it where you have elite guards and elite bigs all the way up and down your roster. And to say that, drafting Evan Mobley to pair up with Jared Allen, and forming that Twin Towers effect. And look at what it did. People were like, I don't know if Mobley's the guy. We already got Jared Allen. Damn.
Well, they forgot about Tim Duncan and David Robinson that fast.
It got to be the Cleveland effect, bro. That's what it got to be. Browns fans, Cavs fans, they just be like, those people in charge don't know what they're doing.
It's wild. It's wild because when you really break it down and you look at like Evan Mobley, he's a big that can step out and he can guard guards on screen and roll switches, that's rare. You don't see that very often. So you got a guy like that could bud and turn into a real star with the right guidance and the right molding. I mean, his comp is like Anthony Davis and Kevin Garnett. It's not here right now. But if he can come into a version of that, that's going to be scary. And then you look at Jared Allen, and this is a dude that he locking down the paint. You got a guy that can go bang, with Joel Embiid. I mean, he going to win, but at least you got a legitimate body that's not just
harder. Not not to take any light away from the Cavs, right? But through all these good decisions, yeah, they got Donovan Mitchell now. And as much as you know, the Cavs have made great decisions. Drafting Colin Sexton wasn't that great of a choice. But they flipped him into Donovan Mitchell, which is magnificent. But in the same draft that they took Colin Sexton, they could have taken Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Michael Bridges.
Yeah,
They're both available options. Now, we're not saying that was a bad choice in Colin Sexton, but there were potentially better choices.
Right. So it's just interesting to think, though, that you could have had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander paired with Darius Garland, which would have been wild to see. I mean, that would have been offense galore. You want to talk fireworks. And then with Mikal Bridges, we see what he's been doing in Brooklyn Nets lately. He's dropping 30 balls like it's nothing. He's like, oh, Phoenix who? He's like, oh, I'm here now. So it just goes to show you, when you have the ability to potentially get these guys, who knows? That's just like the Marvel series. It's a what-if factor. But I'll tell you what, they ended up on the right side of the coin, because with Donovan Mitchell, hey, they got a better option than any other option they probably could have paired with. So.
That's a fact. And the fact that they traded for Donovan Mitchell and managed to keep their core together is ridiculous. That's the part I think is kind of swept under. Like, you gave up 2 firsts in Colin Sexton, but literally kept everybody else and then added Caris.
And even if it was a third first round pick you used, it don't matter. It was still worth it. You leverage it all. What do the Rams say? F them picks. It don't matter, because if it can get you there, it can get you there.
It's crazy to see a turnaround this quick. That's all I can say. It's astronomical. And Donovan Mitchell was the light at the end of the tunnel for the Cavs. And Cleveland swung that. And
they intercepted too. Because all the reports were going to the Knicks. Everyone believed Stephen A was on television talking about, oh, he's going to the Knicks, he's going there. And the Cavs, they came in with the big swing and they landed them. And they got the deal done. And guess what? Now the Knicks got to go home with their ball in their hands.
Just off signing Donovan Mitchell and bringing him in, they moved the line from making the playoffs to legit, at least Eastern Conference Finals contenders, potentially legit Finals contenders. Great ownership, great leadership leads to success.
And I don't like to say great ownership very often with Dan Gilbert, because he's done some things in the past that I was not a fan of. But these ones lately, hey, when kudos are in order, kudos are given. So good on you.
Gotta get a man a pat on his back. Sometimes getting out of your own way is the best way to the top.
And you know what? Even if this Cavs team, even if they don't make any noise happen, if they only get out the first round and they get bounced out, this is a young, fearless team. Who knows what is going to happen? Being young and dumb, and I'm not going to say that last part, can turn into some real ridiculous situations. Either you can go quite far, or maybe that you'll stumble and trip along the way like a baby driven. Who knows? But this Cavs team is a force to be reckoned with. And at this point, Cleveland fans, I know you got to be awfully happy for what's to come.
It's never a small feat to see a team go from a fringe playoff team or a fringe playoff contender to an actual potential finals contender, or at worst, a potential Eastern Conference Finals appearance. That's miraculous, especially to see it flip in 3 seasons. That's just wow. And that's worth being celebrated. That is worth a pat on the back. Go Cleveland. Proud of you guys.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. But if you guys like what you've heard here today, please leave a like, comment, share, and please subscribe to the channel, because we do this, guys, and we want to keep going. So leave that comment below. Let us know what you're liking, what topic you want to see in the future, if you agree with us or disagree with us. But hey, we'll wait for the next one, and catch us on the next one, guys. Peace.